Hello and welcome. So, today what I wanted to do is I wanted to do some giveaways and free up some space in my boxes. How I think I'm going to go about doing it is kind of on the side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some shiny hunting with some sandwiches. Not quite sure what I'm going to hunt just yet, but I'll figure it out. And after that sandwich is expired, then I will do some of the giveaways. If there's any interest in someone wanting a shiny or something like that, then absolutely put it in chat, and I will we'll set that up. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is after every sandwich, I am going to surprise trade away the shinies. So, if you want one, get your Switch out and connect to the internet and get ready so we can connect as soon as possible. And I'm just going to take a quick once around to see what's going on for outbreaks. Nothing really for outbreaks. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna go shiny hunt Toxtricity, I think. Super boring shiny hunt, but super easy. So, not gonna quite do any of the trades or giveaways just yet. I'm gonna wait until after this sandwich. Unless anybody watching does want to trade, just let me know in chat. Alright. This is gonna be a pretty, not like entertaining shiny hunt, because it's going to be very similar to the Bagon or I think it's Dino shiny hunt, where you basically just stand in one spot and reset with a picnic. So that is what we are going to do. I'm going to go ahead and drop a save here just in case we don't get anything. And let's do the picnic. Alright. And slowly but surely, I'm actually starting to memorize some of the sandwich recipes. In some cases, they kind of explain themselves. Like this one for electric is yellow bell pepper, which electric yellow, it makes sense. So they're easy to keep in the back of your mind. Fire, I think, is green red bell pepper. Poison is green bell pepper. So on and so forth. Kind of wish they were all kind of color coded that way, but I think psychic is onion, which I don't really associate onions with, like, you know, mental powers or anything, but, you know, whatever. And I do kind of got to be careful with these bell peppers because they're made out of freaking Teflon and will go flying if I don't balance them. Alright. Ooh, excuse me. And I do have some Pokemon too over on Scarlet for giveaway, especially the Paradoxes. I think I have a good amount of Fluttermanes, shiny Fluttermanes, when I was searching for a zero attack IV Fluttermane, which I did end up finding, which was actually really kind of cool. I was surprised that I found it so quickly. But I do have a lot of leftover shiny Fluttermane, so if anybody wants any of those, I got him. Alright. Trying to find the best position to see everything here. And this shiny is super duper easy to spot too. It's bright pink instead of purple. So I don't think we'll be missing it if it pops. And I do apologize. I had to delay the stream. I originally planned it for 5 tonight, but I delayed it an hour, about 4 o'clock, 4:30-ish. I wanted to lay down and try and get rid of a headache. I spent most of the day sweating and working hard cleaning my car, and got done around 4 o'clock and really wanted to just lay down, cool off, and relax for a hot minute, and started getting a headache, probably because I was dehydrated. So I drank a bunch of water, took an aspirin, and just laid down for a bit, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna push the stream back an hour because I can, and I kind of want this headache to go away. Feeling a lot better now. I was kind of hoping to catch a nap too, but that didn't happen. Every time I think that, I'm like, you know what, I could go for a nap right now, and then I lay down for a nap and I'm just like, I want to clean the entire kitchen. It's just, why? Why does my ADHD brain do this? And speaking of ADHD, I actually went on new medication recently, and it's weird. It is a stimulant, and my doctor who prescribed it, she was like, you know, you're probably going to feel a little bit anxious, and probably going to feel a little bit warm and flushed, and maybe have a little bit of a heart palpitation, and, you know, this and that and the other thing about, you know, taking a stimulant. My ADHD brain is just like, you know what? No, you're going to want to take a nap. You're going to feel really tired, and you're just going to want to sit and do nothing. So that was kind of like the first week, and then now that it's been a couple of weeks, my brain is a little bit more accustomed to it, and it's just like, oh, okay, so this is baseline normal. But I'm used to, not that I'm the most, like, you know, energetic person ever, but I was not expecting it to, like, turn my volume down, you know what I mean? These guys do spawn in a little bit slower than the wall trick, but at least they spawn in and like with a good number of spawns. Sometimes the wall trick, when I did that a while back, the wall trick, like, you would get, you know, sometimes you would get like 15, 20 spawns, like, cool, that's good. And then sometimes you would get like 6, and then it would just stop. So I wonder if sometimes the wall trick, like, maybe they don't quite make it clip through the wall, and they get stuck behind the wall, but there's really no good way to, like, check it. So you can't really see if your spawns are getting stuck behind the wall. Is theirs? Oh, there's sometimes one back there. Oh. I'll need to check that. But anywho. I am glad that I was able to get, that it was nice enough today. I originally planned on getting my car cleaned yesterday, but I woke up early yesterday because I wanted to get started on my car as soon as I could. And I knew it was going to be kind of gray and rainy yesterday, so I was like, I might have to wait until the rain stops to really like clean it out. And I woke up early and I checked the weather, and the weather said, oh yeah, rain's going to stop at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I go and do other things. I did a bunch of other housework and stuff, and 1 o'clock rolls around and I look outside, and it's still kind of raining, but not really. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I got everything ready and I brought it outside, and there were a couple of drops here and there, but it wasn't like raining. And I brought all my cleaning supplies outside, opened up my car, and as soon as I opened everything up, it just started like really raining and really coming down. So I was like, fuck, okay. Then packed everything up, closed everything up, went back inside, checked the weather. Weather says that it's supposed to continue until about 2 o'clock, about an hour later. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So got everything packed up, and I was tended to stuff inside. Then 2 o'clock comes around, and I go back outside, and I notice that, the rain's really let up. It's not quite done raining quite yet. Just a little few drops. So I was like, okay, cool. So I bring all my crap back outside, open up my car. I got as far as putting like that carpet sprinkle refresher baking soda stuff all over the carpet, and then it just started coming down again. So I was like, okay, cool. Pack everything up, close everything up, come back inside, check the weather, and it says now it's supposed to go until 4. So I was like, great. I'm gonna have to do some of this like into the night, I'm sure. So 4 o'clock comes around, and I look outside. It's still kind of spitting rain, and I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna do this tomorrow. So that was today. And it was super duper nice out. It's been sunny and warm, but not used to the sunny and warm, so I was just sweating like a pig. But I was able to haul everything out and got the shop vac out, and was able to like vacuum out the seats and the floor and like do like a thorough deep clean and like get all the grime and sticky nastiness and shit that's just built up on my dashboard off. And I also got to run my ozone machine in my car. I ran that for about a little over an hour, and that ozone machine basically like oxidizes everything in an environment. And I guess it's supposed to kill like bacteria and fungus and stuff like that, but I don't know how well that's gonna work. But it's supposed to oxidize like the source of the bad smell, so that it can't smell anymore. So hopefully that did something. I don't know. Let it go for an hour, and then took it out and kind of let it sit for like another 30 minutes, half hour, and opened everything up, let it air out, and then sprayed Febreze in there to just make everything smell a little bit better, because otherwise it just smelled like cleaning products and thunderstorm because of the ozone. But kind of an interesting little machine. It also just occurred to me too that right before my stream I was like, I haven't eaten anything all day today. And boy, am I hungry. Kind of hoping that Chuck picks something up on his way home from work. I don't think he will if I haven't asked him, but I can hope. What really sounds good right now is sushi. local grocery store has like in the deli, they have like a small little section for uh, uh, a sushi business, and this guy is back there and makes sushi, and it's very good. And typically I wouldn't like advocate for anybody to like eat like grocery store sushi, especially around in this area. But it's actually really, really good, and for what he charges, not too bad. And every so often I'll just go to the grocery store and just pick up something small and cheap and have a little lunch that way. There is also a place in the mall, of all places here, Japanese ramen place, that at first when I found out that there was a ramen place in the mall, I was like, oh god, it's gotta be not great. And I bet you it's just, you know, bunch of white people like throwing Maruchan ramen into a pot and calling it ramen. But no, actually, it's really, really good. And they serve poke, too. They serve poke bowls that are actually really, really good. And the price, too, is also really, really good. But every time I go there, there is zero interest in their food. Like, they look so bored, like they haven't done anything in hours, and haven't seen a soul in hours. And I just wonder if people are just not buying it because, you know, it's mall ramen sushi, which again I would be normally super dubious of, but it's good. But then again, this is also the same mall that has a place in the food court called Cajun Cafe. It's not a cafe, and it's not Cajun at all. It's Chinese food. Like, it's beef and broccoli like styled Chinese food, and they have the audacity to call it Cajun Cafe. And I'm just like, where's any of the Cajun food at all? Where's the gumbo? Where's the andouille sausage? Where's anything Cajun? No crawfish, nothing. So that was kind of a disappointment when they came to the mall, and I was like, oh, we're getting a Cajun place? Sweet. That was years ago, back when I worked in the mall. And somehow they're still in business. I have zero idea how they're still in business. Serving their lies. We did actually, once upon a time, have like an actual Cajun place that served good Southern food. But they ended up closing during the pandemic. They didn't survive the pandemic. And they served like a lot of good stuff. It's just their prices were not very good. Like, it was super duper expensive. Like, for a pound of crayfish, they wanted like $25, and that's just like, are you insane? They are literal mud bugs, and you want $25 for a pound. But they did serve really good, like, Southern food, like kind of niche Southern food, like alligator or crocodile, alligator. I think they're gators down there. I'm not 100% sure. Which, if you ever get the opportunity to try alligator, absolutely do it. It's very, very good. Which, I don't know. Yeah, $25 per pound for crayfish is just bonkers wild. Like, I don't care how good it is. $25 per pound is just nuts. There's a a butcher here in town too that I sometimes shop at because they serve really, really, really good, very high quality cuts of tuna. And this butcher also does carry like a big, like giant, I don't even know, probably like 10-pound bag of crayfish for like $30. But the one thing I don't like about that, what he carries with crayfish, is that they're already cooked. So when you go to cook them, you don't want to cook them you don't want to heat them in boiling water for too awful long, otherwise they get really rubbery and kind of not great. So if you want the flavor of like your own broth in the crayfish, you can't really get that with pre-cooked frozen. And getting live crayfish up here is just not really an option. Although I did do some research once upon a time, and apparently people do eat the crayfish that are like native to this area, and apparently they're very, very good and very, very sought after. It's just there's not a lot of them. Not that like they're endangered or anything, but it's just not a popular dish up here, so people just don't really go for them. Chuck once upon a time he keeps fish. We've got fish and plants everywhere, and he really likes crayfish, and like aquarium, like hobby aquarium crayfish come in all different shapes, sizes, and temperaments. And typically crayfish are like super duper aggressive, and you don't really want to put them with like, you know, more peaceful fish or more curious fish, because the crayfish will absolutely murder them. But they're super duper pretty typically. But anyway, he came across this type of crayfish that was supposed to be very, very chill and very docile, called a marble crayfish. And the lady who sold it to him owns like a ma and pop aquarium hobby shop here in town, and I don't think she would have like intentionally sold it to him knowing marble crayfish. I think she was probably a little unfamiliar with him too. But anyway, she sold Chuck this marble crayfish, and he had it for like maybe, I don't know, a month or two. And we noticed she started like she had a clutch of eggs under her tail. And we were like, oh man, you must have got one that had already been, you know, pregnant by the time you got her. And so she, of course, had little baby crayfish all over the tank. And as far as temperament for a crayfish goes, they are very, very chill. Like, they are very non-aggressive towards other fish. They very much want to hide and avoid all other fish, regardless of how that fish is, like, interacting with them. But, so we had, like, a ton of marble crayfish babies. And we're like, oh, cool, that's awesome. And then, like, before those babies could be, like, any bigger than, you know, like, maybe a centimeter or, like, quarter of an inch, she was already gravid again. She had a clutch of eggs under her tail. And we were like, what? Like, did she get pregnant from, like, one of the other baby crayfish? Which, Animal Kingdom, they don't play by our rules, of course. And they were barely big enough to even, like, you know, get food on their own, basically. And I was like, there's no way that could have happened. So I did a little bit of research, and apparently marble crayfish can reproduce parthenogenically, and they don't exist in the wild. They are a species that evolved completely in the aquarium trade. So they only exist in people's fish tanks. And I was like, man, that would be like such a problem. Like if that got out into the wild or whatever, they could just, you know, clone themselves forever and just overwhelm an environment. And a couple of years later, I was reading an article about marble crayfish, and basically it said that, you know, there's like zero danger to like the environment from these crayfish, even if they do get out, because they are so docile and so kind of garbage at surviving in the wild that they would just die off. Like everything would just eat them, because basically their only instinct is to hide and not attack or defend themselves. But I could not find anything whether or not you could really like eat them, because I kind of figured that that would be kind of a great source of crayfish, is, you know, crayfish that just clone themselves and self-replicate. Why not? But I don't know if I would ever want to eat something out of an aquarium, even my own aquarium. I guess it wouldn't be any different than like farm raised fish. And I'm sure a lot of the crayfish that I eat, especially like up here where it's not native to the environment up here, I'm sure all that's raised in a farm somewhere. But, you know. And actually, after that whole incident with the marble crayfish, we found out that they clone themselves and reproduce parthenogenically and all that fun nonsense. And we did give a few of them back, a good handful of them back to the Mon Pot fish shop that we got the original one at. And we eventually had to get an Indian dwarf pufferfish to really control the population. Indian dwarf pufferfishes basically only eat crustaceans and snails. And if you are ever in a position where you don't have any big predators in a fish tank, like Oscars or like large gourami or anything like that, but you've got a snail problem or a crustacean problem like shrimp or marble crayfish, absolutely get an Indian dwarf pufferfish, because they are ruthless, relentless, and bloodthirsty. They're literally about the size of your thumbnail, and they will just murder anything with a hard shell. Just for fun. And very, very, very intelligent fish, too. Which kind of surprised me. But we got that Indian dwarf puffer, and it ate its little heart out on parthenogenically reproducing crayfish. It did also murder all the snails in the tank, which was unfortunate, because some of those snails were a little important to keeping the tank clean. But what do you do? Alright, how much time do we have left on this sandwich? Oh, wow. I did not think that much time had passed. I suppose I'm 30 minutes into the stream. Oh, I have a team up there. I didn't realize that. Actually, I'm gonna grab that. Because why not? We haven't gotten the shiny quite yet. Rock tomb. Okay, well. I was hoping for something a little bit more interesting than just rock tomb. Yeah, I know I can't set up a picnic while riding a Pokemon. I haven't gotten any shinies yet, which, honestly, my shiny luck, like, this last, I don't know, week, we did shiny hunting with Mop last Saturday, and both they and I did not get a single shiny the whole stream, and which hasn't happened yet. Like, at least one of us will get at least one shiny during a stream, like a good 3-hour stream, and neither of us did at all. So that was really weird. And I did do a little bit of hunting on the side this week, and I guess I kind of had a little bit of luck. I just didn't really get the shinies that I was looking for. And now that I've been hunting this, it's just nothing. But the whole point of this stream is not to acquire new shinies. The whole point of this stream is to get rid of them, because I want my box space back. And Game Freak, Nintendo, Pokemon Company has been just dragging their feet on getting Pokemon Home compatibility out, so I will just suffer, I guess. Not that I have a lot of space in Pokemon Home. The last time I really went in there and organized anything was probably a year ago. Because when they announced Scarlet and Violet, I actually really buckled down and went through my Pokemon Home, and I did get rid of quite a bit. Once upon a time when I was in Gen 5 and Gen 6, I got into a really bad habit when I would do my breeding, and this was before I got into using shinies specifically for VGC and things like that. And before I really got into shiny, really shiny hunting, I would just breed for good stats and good IVs and just call it a day. And for whatever reason, my dumb brain, in its dumbness, thought, I'm going to keep all of the 4 IV and 5 IV Pokemon like anybody is going to care to have them as, parents for offspring. Absolutely nobody cares. Nobody cares. If it's not 6 IV, nobody cares. You might have somebody, maybe once in a bright blue moon, want something that has at least a 0 IV in speed, specifically. But few and far between. But yeah, so for whatever reason, I just decided to keep those because I was thinking, oh, people might want that, and I would love to be able to, trade that to them. And at the time, I had belonged to a few different Pokemon communities, like Poke Beach and Cerebi and things like that. So it was, not without outside of the realm of possibility that I would interact with somebody that would be like, hey, does anybody have, a Snorunt that they want to trade with its hidden ability and, good IVs? And I'd be like, I've got a 4 IV one. And yeah, nobody would ever be like, yeah, I totally want to take a 4 IV Snorunt. So I had to go through and like really get rid of a lot of those. And I did stick with a lot of my my 6 IV perfect ones, because those do have kind of a good amount of value. They're really good for shiny breeding if you want to do Masada method breeding. So those are popular regardless of like, kind of regardless of what they are. People will always want to breed shinies. So I do have a few boxes of perfects here. And I do have a box or two of 0 speed IV Pokemon too, in case that ever becomes necessary. Although really that's kind of just for me, because I do like playing with Trick Room a lot. So every once in a great while, if I need to put a Trick Room Pokemon on a team, I really want to be able to Masada method breed for it with a parent that has a 0 speed IV. But doesn't really work for things like Fluttermane, where you can't breed it, so I had to go find one, and I did. Or not Fluttermane, Brute Bonnet was the one that I wanted with a 0 speed IV. So, yeah. And then, kind of got on a tangent, but Pokebank, or Pokemon Home, when they announced Scarlet and Violet, I kind of put my nose to the grindstone and really like went through that with a fine-tooth comb and got rid of a ton of Pokemon and tried to organize my boxes in National Dex order, and found out that I'm like missing a huge portion of Pokemon from that. And once I got everything in order that I had on hand and through the games that I could connect, I kind of just put it down and just never went back to it, even though I've got like the first like maybe 20-30 boxes dedicated just to the living Pokedex, and then like the rest of them are just random garbage that are just completely unsorted and just wild. What was really difficult though was getting everything in National Dex order. Oh man, my sandwich ran out. But that just means we are gonna do some of the giveaway. So if you want anything, absolutely let me know in chat. Otherwise, we are gonna throw these into surprise trade, wonder trade, and just throw them into the wind and see what we get. But of course, what we're doing is we're gonna give away everything in these 3 boxes. Since there aren't too many people watching right now, basically if you see something you want, absolutely just let me know and it's yours. But I do have a plan if we do get a few more people in here and wanting something. I do have a random number generator, so it'll be random what you get if more people show up, which honestly I doubt. I'm not popular. Nobody likes me. But I do have quite the list for giveaways. This is actually what I was shiny hunting this week and didn't have like super great luck, but I didn't have bad luck either, was Hatena. I was really gunning for either, like really gunning for a 0 speed IV, but I would have settled for like 1 or 2 if it had a 1 or a 2 in its speed stat. But like the lowest I could find was like a 9, and I was just like, how? Why? I had such good luck with other Pokemon. Even the Treasures of Ruin, I IV hunted them in Scarlet, and I got a 0 attack IV Chi-Yu first time. First Pokemon I got. or first spawn I got was 0 attack IV. So I was like, cool. And then Ting Lu, I went and hunted for a 0 speed IV, and I got it on like the 3rd or 4th catch. And I was just like, wow, okay. I was expecting to have to do this for like several days. Now I don't know what to do with myself. But anyway, so I am going to go, I'm probably going to start with the first box and go through for doing the surprise trades. The second box here is probably got a lot of what people would really want, other than maybe the EVs over here in this box. So box 1 is really just like the random shit that I have found over time and just randomly throughout the world, and shiny hunted, and you know, I found a couple of this shiny. I like this one's stats better, and I'm gonna put the rest in the giveaway box. Looking at you, Bruxish. So I am gonna start with the surprise trades. Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm gonna reset so I can get my Herba Mystica back after we did not get a shiny on that sandwich. I swear, Arceus seems to update all the time, but I have no idea what they're doing with that game to update it so frequently. Like, are they actually changing anything? I haven't seen anything posted on Cerebi that they've like added anything new or exciting. Oh, my allergies today were doing so well, and then now that the sun is starting to set a little bit and it's starting to cool down, now my allergies are coming back. But it could also be that I was, you know, breathing in cleaning product fumes and ozone for like 3 hours today. Could be that. Oh, that's right. I gotta get my rock tomb again. Okay. Go ahead and put down a save. Although I don't know why I'm putting down a save. It's going to save right when I connect to the internet anyway. I did also want to do the Chestnut Terror Raid event, because Shiny Chespin specifically is really like one of my favorite shinies. I really, really like that shiny. But Chestnut's not that great. But I wanted to Masada method hunt that shiny, but I didn't really get enough time this weekend to like really buckle down and like do the raid. Although I've been told it's not very difficult. So I'll just have to wait until it comes around. Probably next week, I think, is when they redo the stuff. They do it for 2 weeks, usually. So I'll do it then. All right, surprise trade. First victim is Lechonk. Actually, I'm gonna do the actual like Pokemon preview, so if somebody is unfamiliar with a shiny, they can see what the shiny looks like. The only thing I really don't like doing about I don't like doing about surprise trading or wonder trading my shinies is that the person who's on the other side of it really can't know if that's a legit shiny, and they'll probably just release it because they don't know. They can't really know, especially if they haven't done the post game and got the IV judge and can't see it's garbage IVs. I would just assume if I got a shiny through Wonder Trade that it's not legit. but that's just me. All right, and we traded a pig and we got a pig. Yes, I do want to do another surprise trade. Unless I get something really interesting too, most of the stuff that I get from these wonder trades are probably just going to be released so that I can open up these boxes a little bit. I did this last week. I did convert my egg boxes because I had 4 or 5 boxes specifically to have eggs flow into for Masada method breeding. So they were empty boxes, but I kept them empty so that my eggs could just go in there. I did cannibalize those and redid like all of my boxes. So I kind of needed to. My VGC boxes were starting to overflow. My shiny keeps boxes were overflowing. So I had to do something. All right, Gloomy. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I can't do breeding. It's just I can't do it the way and method that I want to. Because the way and method that I was doing with my boxes is it let me keep track of how many eggs that I had gone through. So I was able to keep a pretty good accurate count of like what number my shiny egg came out on. And I could just do that mentally. I didn't have to like have an external counter to keep track of my eggs. All right, Sneasel. And sometimes it was kind of nice to have that kind of a tracker on my eggs, because when I shiny bred for Quaxley, my god, it took me almost like 2,200 eggs with Masada method and shiny charm to get my shiny. And then with Tadbulb, I did shiny breeding for that one because trying to shiny hunt it was murdering my eyeballs. With that one, I got it on my second egg. So but I do really enjoy that this generation with the mirror herb, they really made getting competitive shinies not necessarily easier, but less arduous. Because if you ever had, and this has happened when I did VGC stuff in Generation 8, if you had a Pokemon that you wanted to bring to VGC and you wanted to bring it shiny, and it needed at least one egg move, a hidden ability, and I also am kind of big on having the ball match either the shiny or kind of like the personality of the Pokemon. So if you wanted any of those things to fall onto a shiny ball, egg move, hidden ability, all of that was just like monstrously like difficult to coordinate and, you know, get it to funnel down so that you got the shiny that you truly wanted. And I kind of ran into that problem too in last generation before the DLC came out, where I needed a hidden ability Spritzy. I had to breed probably over 3,000 of them to get a hidden ability Spritzy, because I kept getting ones with their regular ability, and that was before we had the ability patch, and it was just It was just a nightmare. It took me weeks. But with the inclusion of the mirror herb, you no longer even have to like really think about egg move breeding, because you can just breed for your shiny, Masada method breeding for your shiny, whatever you want to do, and get your shiny. Once you've got your shiny, basically put it into your party and make sure it has an open move slot, so you have to make it forget a move, so it's got a blank spot at least. And then you go and get any Pokemon. Any Pokemon. It doesn't even have to be in the same egg group, doesn't even have to be opposite gender, nothing. Just any Pokemon that knows the move that you want it to, the shiny Pokemon to learn. Give your shiny the mirror herb, open up a picnic, and basically the other Pokemon will teach your shiny with the mirror herb that move. And you just put the move onto it. And just having that was just perfect. Also, I wanted to check that Pichu to see if it was shiny, because Pichu is awful. But it isn't an interesting ball, so I don't think we're going to get rid of this Pichu. I may want to use it for a light ball Pikachu someday, maybe. I'm going to do the next row, I think, and then we'll go back to another shiny hunt. Although I don't know what to hunt next. If anybody's got any suggestions on what to hunt before our next wave of surprise trades, let me know. Alright. Thinking I have to go get some more water. Just talking is drying me out. I probably dehydrated myself way worse than I thought today, getting everything clean. Yes. I do hope, though, that whoever gets these shinies appreciates them and, like, puts them on their team, or they're just starting the game and get one of these shinies to help them through their playthrough or whatever. What I really ought to have done, though, is done this, like, last weekend before Tears of the Kingdom came out, so that there was more people playing. Because I think a lot of people are right now, like, focused in on Tears of the Kingdom. And I do have a Nintendo voucher still, because when I got Scarlet, I didn't buy Scarlet from the e-store or the Nintendo shop outright. I actually bought the voucher, or the two sets of or the pair of vouchers, and bought it with one of the vouchers because it was technically cheaper. So I still have one of the vouchers available, and I was gonna just use it on Breath of the Wild, but this was like maybe a month ago, and I knew Tears of the Kingdom was right around the corner, and I was like, well, maybe I want to use it for Tears of the Kingdom. And I'm still on the fence. I still have no idea what I want. But welcome to my world. I live inside this brain. I'm kind of waiting, I guess, for people to play Tears of the Kingdom and kind of let me know, like, is playing Breath of the Wild important to really enjoy Tears of the Kingdom? Or can I play Tears of the Kingdom and enjoy it kind of like, you don't really need to play, like, Morrowind or Oblivion to enjoy Skyrim type thing. It's definitely not recommended, but you absolutely don't have to play those two games to understand what's going on in Skyrim. Although, I think it's going to be a very, very long time and a very cold day in hell before we get Elder Scrolls 6, which sucks. I think after the 2000s or early 10s, a lot of the good writers from Bethesda kind of jumped ship. Which isn't to say that like the current writers and developers are bad. It's just not the same, I guess. I do like a lot of the stories and work that people have put in to ESO. Like a lot of the storylines and quest lines and narratives there are really, really, really good. Some of them are garbage, but let's be real, it's an MMO. You're gonna get that. But I don't know, and it could also just be nostalgia, because I kind of consider Morrowind to be the superior Elder Scrolls experience. And I do have it for PC. Modded, of course. But I originally played it on the original Xbox. And for the vast majority of things, I like it better on PC. Except the menus are terrible on PC. Because they kind of are like everywhere and you have to organize them the way you want them. Whereas on Xbox, it was basically like Ocarina of Time type thing, where it's like one menu, shift to the other menu, shift to the other menu. And you didn't have like this weird setup where you have to like put your spells in a long list because it doesn't really work in a wide angled window, and put your inventory in a wide angled window because it doesn't really work in a like long. Yeah. There could be mods out there for that too, but I haven't found them. But there we go. We just did 10? No. 12 surprise trades. I don't think we got any shinies. Wasn't super duper paying attention. We did get a tadbulb and a moonball though. That's interesting. Got good stats. And a good egg moves. Zorua with good stats. But in just a regular Pokeball. I don't... Well, yeah, no, Zorua can be in special balls. It can... because you'd have to breed it with an actual Zoroark, or the Unnovan Zoroark, and it should be able to pass the ball from one of the parents. So that one's going into the release bin. And then Chansey is just random Chansey. Pichu we're probably going to keep. And then the rest of these I think we're probably just going to toss. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm actually going to move Pichu over here so I don't accidentally throw it into the meat grinder. But did anybody watching have any suggestions on what to shiny hunt after I do this? Because I don't have a plan. The only fun, like, held item that I've gotten from a trade, or a surprise trade, was that very much hacked Ditto that I still have in one dark corner of my boxes here. It was a 6 IV perfect shiny Ditto named Zacian.net. So absolutely hacked, but it was holding a Master Ball. So I took the Master Ball, just because I am ethically against using hacked Pokemon. I am not ethically against, enjoying the spoils of said hacks. But what do you do? Where should I put you? I'm gonna put you over here because you're still kind of random, but I'll come back to you later. But like I said, I do have I've got a box of 0 speed IV Pokemon. Most of these are perfect with 0, but some of these aren't. Yeah, like this one. Like, I don't know why anybody would want it, but I kept it for myself in case I needed it later. And I think I got this out of the Eevee event that was like a month ago, where there was just Eevees in the raid dens. But yeah. And then it continues a little bit up here, and then the rest of these are 6 IV perfect. And I kept these because I think people would actually want them. But I've already got, for the vast majority of these, I've already got the shiny for them, so I really have no purpose on holding on to them. Mimikyu? You want a shiny Mimikyu? Or I should go hunt Mimikyu? Because I don't know, do I have a Mimikyu in my giveaway boxes? I do not, but I could certainly go hunt one. Whoops. I did not want to get off my mount. I would like to go to the Lag Tree Forest. But is that what you meant? You wanted me to go shiny hunt Mimikyu, or do you want a shiny Mimikyu? Because I'm sure if I shiny hunt it, if I get a multiple, you can absolutely have the multiple that I don't want. Because I would not say no to a shiny Mimikyu. I do have one, but I only have one, and it's in my VGC boxes. And I haven't used it yet for VGC. And that's not to say that Mimikyu is not good. It is. It's got a place. It's just not quite as popular as it used to be. Hunt something the shiny I don't have. Well, that'll be difficult. I'm not that insane. I do not want a shiny living dex. I don't want to live that life. Plus, I'm always really, suspicious of people that are like, I just completed my shiny living dex, and it's just like, did you? Or did a bunch of other people that just gave you shit? Which I guess is kind of splitting hairs, but if it were me, I would want to do all of the work to get all of the shinies for me. But I guess some people don't really care. They just want to have the shinies in a place and just have them in order. But alright, so let's just do a Mimikyu hunt then. Do I want to do Ghost or... Well, I should do Ghost instead of Fairy, because if I do Fairy, I'm going to get a bunch of these Impidimps and Morgrems, so let's do Ghost. I am, though, going to take a quick little break. I want to go get some water and loosen up the meat flaps on my face a little bit. So I will be right back. There we go. Actually went to the starting soon on accident, but I'm back. I did stop and get a little bit of a snack too because I was a little hungry. Alright, so we are going to do Mimikyu, and we need to do a... God damn it. I really wish it would just kick you off of Miraidon when you want to set up a picnic. And we got to do a ghost sandwich, which I don't remember ghost right offhand, so I'm going to look that up real fast. Ghost is 3 red onion. Okay. Alrighty. So let's get started. I am going to take off my glasses. Well, no, I can't see the screen quite as well. The headache is starting to creep back a little bit, and my glasses are fairly old, so it's definitely time for an upgrade. I've noticed that my eyes tend to really hurt if I'm looking at something up close, when before it would just be kind of annoying. Now it's like, it's a problem. Ugh. And when I first started my job that I started back in October, they actually didn't even offer vision insurance at all. So I was like, cool, great. But we just redid our benefits starting in May, and they started offering vision insurance. So now I've got that. So I really have no excuse to go get new glasses. I think I got these like... God, I don't even remember. Maybe like 7, 8 years ago, and I still have them. Although at the time I did get 2 pairs, and I destroyed my first pair in like 6 months. I just completely bent them out of shape, and they were toast. And this is actually my spare, and these have lasted me years. And they're not very scratched at all. There's a little bit of damage on one of the lenses, but I think for pushing 8 years, they've done very well. But I think it's time to get my prescription redone and new lenses put in. Alrighty. So many Mimikyu. If it goes to nighttime, this is going to be kind of a difficult hunt, because seeing the difference between that really pale yellow and a white Mimikyu is going to be very difficult, actually. Yeah, like that one in the shadow was really difficult to see, so this could be a difficult hunt. But I've done it before, and still got the shiny. Actually, did you? No, you got it. I thought I saw it shaking its head like it didn't want to attack. These ones in the shadow are difficult to see if they're that pale ghostly white or if they're normal, regular. I was so upset when I got Sword and Shield. I started with Shield, and I kind of started a little bit late because at the time I didn't have a Switch, and God, I think Sword and Shield came out in October, November of like 17, I think. And was it 17? Maybe it was 18. I don't really remember, but it was October, November time. It was fall, and I didn't have a Switch, so I didn't get them right away. Which, for me, not getting a Pokemon game right away is unheard of. I've had them pretty much since on day one every time they launch, and I didn't get my Switch and my copy of Shield until like March, that following March. And I was so excited to start and get into the game. And the first shiny that I found was from a tree, shaking a tree, and it was a Greedent. And of all the Pokemon in Gen 8, I think I hate Greedent the most. And I was so disappointed. I was just like, gross. Of all the things to have gotten. But it was a Star Shiny, which in Gen 8, finding a Star Shiny in the wild was actually rarer than finding a Square Shiny in the wild. I really think somebody screwed up with the Square versus Star Shinies. I think the Square Shinies were supposed to be the rarest, like, baseline for everything, but they made it so that the Square Shinies were way more common for wild encounters. So it was something weird, like 1 out of every 32 Pokemon would be one of the shinies, or the other shiny type of shiny. So, you look weird. So like if you're breeding and you get a shiny from breeding, that shiny had a 1 in 32 chance to be Square, but if you found it in the wild, it had a 1 in 32 chance to be Star Shiny. And I really think somebody screwed that up and kind of made it weird like that. I think the Squares were meant to be the ultra shiny or ultra rare. And actually, it was Shield that really got me into shiny hunting at all. And using shinies for VGC. Prior to that, I just didn't care. I was just like, if I get a shiny, I'll get a shiny. If I don't, I don't. And I just bred for my IVs and called it good. But the first Pokemon that I was breeding for VGC was Incineroar. And I wasn't keeping track, but it was very, very early. On like my 30th egg, I got a shiny Litten, and I just, like, the dopamine rush was very real, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this again and again. And that's basically what started it. And I used to have the screenshot and the video in my Switch of that first shiny encounter with a hatched Litten, but when I got my new Switch, which is actually the Scarlet and Violet Switch, I did transfer all the data over, but for whatever reason my images and videos didn't transfer over, which I thought was weird. So they're actually still in my old Switch. And I do have an SD card, and I thought that I had transferred everything over to my SD card so I could just swap it over to my other Switch, and I guess I had not done that. Or I didn't do it correctly. But, and I kind of do that, like take a screenshot of the shiny. I always try to get it while the sparkles are coming out. I'll take a screenshot, and then I'll take, as soon as the encounter starts, I'll get the camera in like a good spot, and then I'll take a video, so it goes back 30 seconds. And I do that mostly for myself, but I also do it just in case, like, I do one of these shiny giveaways or something like that, and somebody wants to, like, hey, is this legit? I can actually go back and look in my, basically my catalog and be like, yep, here's the video proof, here it is. And I've played with the date on my Switch so often to date skip to get outbreaks the way I want them, and to, you know, basically any other reason why you want to date skip. And I think, what am I? I think I'm in like February of 2024 on my Switch. So my Switch time and date is absolutely meaningless. So a lot of the shinies that I have for giveaway will have just completely wild dates for when the shiny was encountered and caught. Which personally doesn't bug me too much, but it might bug some. I'm far more interested in making sure that the balls match and that it's a good Pokemon to use. Or at least to have. There are some shinies that I have that I like them because I like to have them because they're pretty. Kind of like Chespin. I wouldn't use Chestnut in VGC even if it were legal, just because it's just not great. Like, I understand what they were trying to do with the motif of X and Y. You had basically a ninja rogue thing, a mage motif, and then like a fighter paladin kind of motif. And like, I get that, but making a grass fighting type defensive is just not great, because that type combination just doesn't work defensively. It works a lot better. It would have worked a lot better if they had made the grass fighting type the damagey kind of ninja character, and the water dark one the like Dark Knight paladin-esque one. But what do I know? That isn't to say that I don't like Greninja. Greninja is a great design. I just think Chestnut would have done better had it been redesigned. Yeah. But what do you do? There are certainly older Pokemon design choices that I have not been super fond of either. And people will complain all the time that as generations go on, the designs get worse. But really, like, if you really take a hard look at, like, Gen 1, we had literally 2 balls of slime, 2 literal balls, a magnet, a possibly racist opera singer from God knows where, just, yeah, the Gen 1 designs weren't, like, exactly brilliant either. I'm just gonna check. And I'm really, typically when I do these kinds of hunts is I swing my camera around and look behind me as I'm traveling. I'm not doing a whole lot of that right now because my head is kind of hurting. And a lot of it is coming from eye strain and eye stimulation. Yes, but are you shiny? You are not. Okay, Iron Valiant, come back. Okay, cool. I know you want to kill everything, but you just can't. And, like, even some of the Pokemon designs, too, that, like, people absolutely hate. I love. Like, Generation 5 gets a lot of hate for its designs because they basically wanted to, like, reboot the franchise and essentially, like, redo Gen 1, but in a different flavor. And people were just not open to that at all. And Gen 5 is actually one of the generations that has a lot of my favorite Pokemon. Like Vanillux, the ice cream Pokemon. People love to hate that thing. I love it. I think it's great. It's another Gen 5 Pokemon people just hate without reason. Know a lot of people weren't super thrilled with Druddigon, and I don't know. I'm on the fence about Druddigon, but I didn't think it was terrible. A lot of people hate Cryogonal because it's just a snowflake with a face, but I thought that was brilliant. I love it shiny. Its shiny is amazing. Yeah, I really like Gen 5, and a lot of people hate it. I think from a design point of view, my least favorite generation, and this is going to get me a lot of hate, was Generation 4. Generation 4, by all accounts, was my least favorite generation. Like, it's cool that we got the physical special split, but I feel like that was going to happen anyway. I don't think that's specifically like a achievement of Generation 4 to put it in that kind of way. But yeah, Generation 4 just did not do it for me. I was not into it. I really loved the Gen 2 remakes in Gen 4, though. The Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I thought those were really good. But yeah, Diamond and Pearl, just not for me. And before Scarlet and Violet, actually Gen 5 was Black and White were my favorite Pokemon games to date. Sword and Shield didn't really even scratch that. You're looking a little pale there, friend. Okay. But the story in Scarlet and Violet, the open world gameplay, absolutely everything about this game I love. And like people have very strong opinions on like, oh, this game was rushed, it's too buggy, blah 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 blah. Like, okay, but when has anybody ever played a Pokemon game and was like, man, I only play Pokemon for the graphics? Like, be real. But I do think it's important to kind of hold Game Freak responsible for not giving us a grade A product when this game came out. And I think they should do better, and I think they could do better. Yeah, Dordogon is got a confusing design. Like, it's vaguely like European dragon shaped, but at the same time it's not clear, like, is it a dragon type or is it just dragon-esque? Is it grass type or isn't it? Is it dark type or isn't it? It's unclear. I think, truly and honestly, like, my only big gripe with Scarlet and Violet are the paradox designs for Violet specifically. For one, they are all named Iron something. Every single one of them is Iron something. And they all have the exact same design. Every single one of them. At least the Scarlet paradox forms. Like, yeah, they're supposed to be, like, prehistoric and brutal and savage and, like, primitive. And I feel like they did that really well. But it's not, like, the same motif everywhere on all of them. Like, yeah, the Violet paradox forms, they are all made out of metal. They all have LCD screens for eyes. And it's just samesies all around. And I'm just like, did one person design all of these? Because that probably should not have happened. They probably should have had a few people working on designing these. How long do we have left on our sandwich? 12 minutes. And yes, in Japanese too, the Violet Paradox Pokemon all have iron in their names. They all start with Tetsu, which is, of course, Japanese for iron. And when I'm playing VGC against a Japanese player, I can read hiragana and katakana, but I can't read them very, very fast. I learned how to read hiragana and katakana when I was like 14, 15 years old. So, and I only have like... Oh, are you shiny? Nope. But I learned how to read and write in hiragana and katakana when I was like 14, 15. And with a very small smattering of kanji. So, like, my literacy in Japanese is basically barely first grade. And because I don't use it in everyday life, my reading speed and reading comprehension is not great. So when I'm playing VGC and somebody's got a Violet Paradox and they're sending it out, I know immediately it's going to be a Violet Paradox because I can read the Tetsu really quickly, and then it's just going to kind of blurs together before the message leaves the screen. And then there are some that, like, my brain just knows on sight, like Bangirasu or Gyaradosu. These ones in the shade, man, really deceptive. That pale yellow really does wash out and in a darker cast. I do catch myself every so often, like when I'm at work and it's slow, and I don't like to like be on my phone or play my Switch when people are actually in the office. Like if there's a customer in the office that I'm not personally helping, and I've got a little bit of downtime, I don't like being on my phone or being on my Switch because it just feels weird. And like, there's really no rule in our office that, you know, you can't use your phone or even bring a game system. There's really no rule against that, and nobody really cares. But I feel weird doing it in front of customers. So sometimes what I'll do if I'm not like looking something up or helping someone or whatever, and I've just left alone, is that I have a big like desk calendar, and I will go through that and like doodle on it. And a lot of times my doodles are actually just me writing words, random words that people say, either translated into Japanese or like verbatim, like transliterated from English into Japanese. So like if somebody is looking for a Dexter part for their whatever, I'll write out Dexter in hiragana and katakana, although it'd be more correct to write it in katakana. But that's just what I do. And like when I moved to the States, I was still in high school when I moved to the States. And the Japanese at that point in my life was still fresh in my brain. I would sometimes write like school notes in Japanese, just to kind of like solidify it in my brain. And I would write stuff out in hiragana or katakana. Very rarely would I like know the kanji for what I wanted to write down specifically, but sometimes I did. I also, when I got here too, when I moved here, my school in Japan was a little bit more advanced than, you know, North Dakota public school. So they actually, when I moved here, they actually had a hard time like placing me in classes in high school because I had already done those credits, or I had a credit that was higher that they didn't offer. Like, when I left Japan, I was in AP World History and English Literature, which they didn't offer in, you know, bumfuck nowhere public school. So they had a hard time like placing me in appropriate classes. And they did have kind of a block of a class, and it wasn't really a class, it was more like, hey, we don't know what to do with you. Do you want to go down to the elementary side of the school? Because a lot of rural schools are like kindergarten through 12th grade all in one building because the class sizes are so small. Which actually, my graduating class, by the way, was one of the largest in pretty much ever. And my graduating class was 14. So, yeah. When I was in Japan, my graduating class was like 600. Where was I going with this train of thought before I derailed? Of course, they had trouble placing me in classes. So they had me do this class, which they called Experience in Education, EIE, where basically you would go down to the elementary side of the school and basically be a teacher's assistant. And that was the class. And for elementary school students, it's part of the curriculum for them to have at least exposure to a foreign language, and typically that's Spanish for almost every American school. Which I thought was kind of surprising, given like the number of Norwegians and Germans that live in North Dakota. I really would have figured that they would have done like Norwegian or German, maybe even Swedish. But no, they had done Spanish, and nobody in that school spoke Spanish natively at all. So that was fun. But when I started in my junior year in high school, and I did that experience in education, I was like, hey, instead of Spanish, do you want me to actually like me to do something productive while I'm in here for an hour and a half? And like, I don't know, teach the kids like, you know, how to count in Japanese, and like their colors and days of the week and months and stuff like that. And the teacher that I was working for, who was the second grade teacher, was also the principal of the elementary school side of things. She was just like, oh my god, that would be amazing. So I had all the kids, and I don't remember if I had the kids go out and buy this with their parents, or if the second grade teacher principal went out and bought it with her own money. But all the kids had gotten totally blank books. Like, they were little square bound blank books, and I had them decorate like the outside of the book however way they wanted. And I wrote down the kanji for Nihon, which is Japan in Japanese, which is really, really basic, simple kanji that second graders could absolutely do if they had a visual aid. And I just gave them like, you know, like Japanese themes and motifs, and had them like decorate their books, and some of them got really, really creative with it. And in the books, I had them like write down what they were learning. So like the numbers, and I would write the kanji for the numbers, like 1 to 10, on the board, and they would write that in their books, and how to say it, and yeah. And I had a lot of fun with that. And I'm not really fond of children at all, but I had a lot of fun doing that. And it really kind of put me on a path to seek out like doing language education for like kids in elementary school style, like age group. And I did go to college for a very, very, very short time, but that didn't work out. And as I got older, I am more set in my ways. I'm just like, I don't like kids. I don't know why I ever thought I ever wanted to work with kids. Like, no, I don't have the energy. I don't have the patience. I could not do that. And I'm glad that my life did not take that path, because I think after doing that for like a year or two, I would have been very, very unhappy. So, you live and you learn. And after I graduated too, they told me when I started there that the experience and education, like teacher's assistant class, was usually only for seniors that had met all of their requirements for graduation, and it was just kind of like a we don't know what to do with you, just do this kind of class. Because that class didn't earn any credits whatsoever. It was literally like, well, you can't leave, so do this. But that was my junior year, and typically it's only for seniors. They put me in the same class the next year, so I ended up doing that for 2 years in high school. And I was told after I graduated and I left, they reverted right back to doing Spanish with 0 native speakers of Spanish. So, and they kind of, what was weird when I was in school in Japan, so I grew up in the military, American military, and we can have a discussion about the American military complex and American imperialism another time. But, so I grew up on base. My school was Department of Defense, which is a little bit different than most public schooling, by far. And when I was in high school, Bush enacted No Child Left Behind. Well, on paper, No Child Left Behind sounded great. But in practice, it was actually pretty fucking awful. For a lot of reasons. But one of the things it did was require teachers to have a teaching degree from an accredited American school. So almost overnight, our Japanese teachers, who were native Japanese people, or at least native Japanese in the sense that they were Japanese nationals, but our Japanese teachers were actually Ryukyuan by ethnicity. Almost overnight, our Japanese teachers were kicked out because they weren't accredited with a teaching degree from an American university or school. Obviously, they had their credentials through the Japanese system. And so they replaced them with white Americans teaching us Japanese. And at first it wasn't really a big issue, but a lot of us as kids were really I'm trying to put this as nicely as possible, against having our teachers that we knew and that we loved just kind of, kicked out for no reason. So we were not nice to these very nice American ladies that came to teach us Japanese. We were just awful to them, and I feel bad to this day about it, but yeah, we were not great kids. But the situation was also just stupid. But it wasn't their fault. But yeah. I was a little discouraged when our teacher that came to teach my class was first day she came in. She was like, I am not fluent, but I have 2 years of study, and I have lived in Japan for this many years. And we were all just like, please, whatever. We weren't enthused. So, kind of the opposite situation there, where we got rid of the native speakers and brought in non-native speakers. All right. Well, actually, I hope I didn't save. Don't think I did. But we didn't get our shiny, but oh well. That's kind of par for the course for our shiny luck thus far. I'm going to go and do one more wave of Wonder Trades, unless there's anybody in chat that wants anything specific. Then I will absolutely make your dreams come true. But, excuse me. But I will be at least emptying that first box of shinies and open up one box for myself. Okay, cool. I did not save, so we saved our herbs. But let's connect to the internet. Yeah. I was actually talking to a friend of mine today, and I've lived in North Dakota for the last 17 years. And prior to that, I'd always lived, I've always lived within at least 30 minutes of an ocean, whether it be on the east coast of the United States or on the west coast of the United States or in, East Asia. Always, 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 the longest amount of time that I had to drive or travel to get to the ocean was about 30 minutes. And I was talking to a friend today, and we were actually talking about the ocean for one reason or another. And I told her that I was like, you know what, sometimes I miss the ocean, sometimes like I miss a relative. And I know that sounds dumb and cheesy, but it's absolutely true. Oops, I didn't want to make a picnic. Because growing up, it had always been there for my whole life. And I don't know that I took it for granted, but I wish I had appreciated it more. Alright, so we're doing 3 rows this time instead of 2 rows. And I think after this, though, I am probably going to sign out. This headache really is not going away, and I would like to take a nap. So, that is my plan. I will probably... Actually, what I want to do is I want to get to this screen. I will very probably, unless they announce home compatibility like in the next few days, I will actually probably do another Sunday stream next week for giveaways and stuff. But my biggest obstacle with doing these giveaways and stuff like that is that I'm still really fresh to YouTube and Pokemon streaming, and I don't have a lot of subscribers and I don't have a lot of viewers, so I don't have a lot of demand to interact with an audience. So it's hard to set up things that are interactive for an audience that's not there. You know what I mean? But, ooh, a Slitherwing caught in a Master Ball. Why? There's nothing special about it. Alright, I mean, it's your Master Ball, I guess. Not mine. But, anywho. A little while back, I bought 40 pounds of sea salt so that I could actually like throw that into a bathtub and actually like take a sea salt bath, just to try and get a little bit of the ocean at home. It absolutely is not the same, but I mean, it was relaxing. Till you get some of that in your eye, and then you're just like, holy crap, salt water in the eye. Oh god, did I get a .com? I think was that a .com username? I don't know. No, it wasn't. Okay. What's going on with you? Okay. I thought maybe it might have been shiny, but I had to really look at it to be sure. Oh, today was such a nice day too. It wasn't like it wasn't too hot until about maybe like 3 or 4 o'clock. Then it got kind of hot-ish outside, and that's hot for us. So it was like 80 degrees. But most of the day it was in the mid to low 70s, which is just perfect. Pretty much anything above 77, and I'm sweating. I can't believe I grew up in subtropical climates, and I was super duper, like, I'm not a small person. I was super duper insecure as a high schooler, and I don't know what for, because I just recently saw some of my high school pictures, and I was like, I wasn't skinny, but I wasn't big either. I'm big now. But I was super, super insecure. And I wore a hoodie in subtropical heat and humidity, like 24/7. And would just sweat my brains out and just not think anything of it. Like, what was wrong with me? No idea. I saw those pictures, though, recently of me in high school, and I was just like, God damn. Why did I even for a second think that, like, I was just like this big, hideous blob? Like, I'm much, much bigger now, don't get me wrong, and I still don't have that same, like, self-deprecating, like, self-image that I did in high school. I don't know what it is about high school that just, like, murders your self-confidence, but it absolutely did. Pocahontas. I hate that name so much. Let's see, it was, yep, Pocahontas was the original trainer. Man, I hate that. I hate that so much. But yeah. But it is what it is. People outgrow their dumb teenagery dumbness. Good cold water. For this, I am gonna actually take off my glasses because I don't really need to see very much for this. Whoa, that feels so much better. All right. The last few raid den events I have not done. I actually haven't done the raid den event since Samurott. Mostly because the Samurott event was just kind of awful. Like, it wasn't even fun. Like, you would go into the raid, and the Samurott would immediately set up a focus energy, which increases its crit, and it would just go on to just 100% crit everything. So you couldn't even build stack defense buffs like not iron armor. What is it? Is it iron armor? Yeah, it's iron armor. You could even stack those because crits ignore your stat buffs. And it was just not fun. It was just punishing and awful. And it felt like no matter what you brought, it had something super effective against you. And because it was constantly critting, it was just dealing ungodly amounts of damage. I hated it. And I didn't want to do it. I don't even like Samurott. I don't even like Oshawott. So I wasn't like too pressed about not wanting to do it. But it is kind of like killed my enthusiasm to like go into the 7-star raids because just how frustrating Samurott was. Although I've been told that Chestnut is pretty easy. I was also told that Typhlosion was going to be really easy, but I did not find Typhlosion to be very easy. I found that one to be very difficult. I guess I take back what I said. I did go into Typhlosion a few times and get my ass kicked. But I didn't find it as frustrating as Samurott. I didn't ever get a Typhlosion, but after a little while I just stopped caring. Typhlosion was also the same time as the Chansey event, and the Chansey event like dropped Terra Shards like crazy. Like you would do one Chansey event and you had the chance to get like 10 Terra Shards of every type. So I went a little overboard with doing the Chansey raids. Hi, hello. Welcome to the stream. I am in the middle of doing a few surprise trades with my shinies here. But if you are wanting to get in on the giveaway, you are more than welcome to put in a request for Sylveon? Oh man, I wish you had been here maybe an hour ago. I did. I wonder traded it. But I will take a look and see if I have an extra one. I will definitely check for you. My giveaway boxes, I've got 3 giveaway boxes, and I'm almost... Oh, shiny Eevee. Actually, do you want that shiny... Oh, never mind. You don't want that shiny Eevee. It's absolutely hacked. But let's see here. Do I have another Sylveon? Also, if you see anything else in these boxes that are labeled shiny giveaway, you're more than welcome to have one. I do not have another Sylveon, unfortunately. An ability patch. I will take that. But that's this box. Second box has a lot of Paradox Pokemon in it. And then this box, these are not shiny up here. These are what I've gone through. The only Eevee that oh yeah, I've got Eevees over here. They're pretty much the same thing. Like they're wild caught, so. But I will absolutely give you an Eevee. Go ahead and open up your Poke Portal and your trade, and I will set a code for you. What's your in-game name? So that way when I connect, I know it's you and not somebody else. Okay. Let's go ahead and connect. So go ahead and put in the code. Oh, not that. Go ahead and put in this code, and we will get connected. And of course, my in-game name is AKWILA, Aquila. So if you connect with somebody else by weird random happenstance, just go ahead and quit out of that screen, and we can try again. A trade partner has been found. Alrighty, there you are. Okay. They're both males. Do you want the level 31 or the level 29 one, or do you not care? Oh, whoops. I think I accidentally hit back. I'm so sorry. Try again. Oh, okay. No worries. We can do it again. Alrighty. But did you care which one? The either 30 or 29 one? They're both pretty much the same. I'm gonna put up the level 31 just to save you some XP grinding or candies or whatever. Yep, no problem. I went and hunted these a couple of weeks ago. I needed a shiny Jolteon for a team build for one of my VGC streams, and I got kind of a ton of extras. I did give some of them away to friends, and these are like the last two that are like for everyone's giveaway. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for watching. Oop, nope. I'm gonna get that Houndstone out of there though, so I don't accidentally keep it. The whole point of doing this giveaway was to free up some spaces in my boxes. So as soon as I get these, you know, common Pokemon, I give them the boot. But let's continue. This Eevee, even though it's shiny, I know it's hacked, so I am gonna delete that later. Oops, no, I don't want to release that. What am I doing? Wow, I am screwed up. Anywho. So let's get back to it. Voltorb is one of my favorite shinies. I just like that blue color. And it's also interesting. So in this game, of course, it's open world, and the Pokemon in the world interact with you. Like you can see here, they're all looking at me, or at least the ones close to me. But Voltorb, being Voltorb, will just explode if you get too close to it. Which is canonically accurate. They explode like with absolutely no warning and with no provocation, basically. And if it is shiny, it will not explode. Just like Sudowoodo, if you find one shiny. Typically Sudowoodo will run away from you very, very, very fast. If it's shiny, it will still try to run away from you, but it will be like 90% slower. It'll run away from you in like slow-mo. And it just kind of cute to me that they put that in this game to give you a good chance at getting your shiny. Zebstrika is not in Scarlet and Violet base game, but it is rumored to be in the DLC. So, not yet. Probably in the future. Yeah, there's a Voltorb there. So you get close to Voltorb, and it gets angry and explodes. I got a few others. Whoops. Actually, let me get that surprise trade done. I do have quite a collection. A lot of them, though, I keep for myself or for use in VGC. Some of the leftovers, basically, though, I keep on hand to, you know, give away and interact with people on my stream. And that's what you saw in those boxes, is the giveaways. So, was there something else that you wanted in my boxes? Yay, Metamon! No. So, this is the first box. Of course, that Ditto is not shiny. But, like, from this Oinkologne and down are this whole box and this whole box. So go ahead and take a moment to look at these, if there's anything in this box that you want. And then in box 2, if there's anything in this box that you want. Maybe the shiny gene is linked to mobility issues, like how white fur, blue eyes are usually deaf. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can definitely have the shiny hip hop. There it is. I don't think there's anything special about this one other than it is shiny. Yeah, it's just shiny. Let's go ahead and do another trade. Actually, we can use the same code. I'm sure that's not a problem. It's not like I have, you know, thousands of viewers at the moment, so. Oh. But I'm still new to streaming on YouTube, so I'm still learning. But how did you come across my stream? Was it just kind of just in your feed? Whoops. Because other than, like, you know, like going to certain Pokemon communities, like other people's Discords or like Reddit or Twitter or whatever, other than like posting that, you know, I'm streaming on those platforms, I'm not super sure like how to go about like spreading my my stream, essentially, and growing my stream. I did, though, a couple of weeks ago, I did have a bunch of people come in and, like, raid my stream, which was kind of fun. Oh, okay. Blissy. Oops. I wanted... There we go. Okay. But I am going to cut you off there, though. I do want to get the rest of these shinies in box 1 out. Because I do want to not go too terribly later with the stream tonight. Yeah, those are all shiny. Okay. But thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. But I do a lot of shiny hunting, so I will have probably more giveaways eventually. I used to do a Sunday stream every Sunday, but it got to be a little bit too much, so I kind of just went to doing Sundays occasionally. So I stream every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. Very rarely Sunday. And Sundays is usually when I do the giveaways and everything like that. But my Monday and Friday streams are dedicated to VGC, and Saturday streams are shiny hunting. Usually with one of my good friends, Mop. Which I have fun with, but it's not the greatest way to go about shiny hunting, because we do the oh man, I always forget the name of it. I always want to call it Pal Park, and I know that's not a thing. That's a Gen 4 thing. It's the Union Circle. We do it in the Union Circle, which isn't the greatest method for shiny hunting, because while you're in the Union Circle, like, instance, it, like, cuts the number of spawns that you have in the world, like, in half. And if you're near each other, it's even worse. Ooh. Cyndaquil. I was just talking about how I did not do the Typhlosion raid. So now I can actually breed for a shiny Cyndaquil. Oh. Weird. You think they would have, like, you know, bred it for at least better stats. But what do you do? I am surprised that today my card did not take longer to do. I was really expecting it to take like 4+ hours. It only took me like 2.5, maybe 3. Like, what took me the longest was just running the, well, I'm not including the 1.5-ish that I ran the ozone machine in there. But went quicker and easier than I had anticipated. Box 1, that was box 1 that I'm surprised trading out of right now. So they're kind of just odds and ends, like nothing too popular that anybody would want. So like right now what I have left is Sableye, Magikarp, Shellder, and Lechonk. And do I have any other Sableye? Shiny Sableye? I do not. That one, Sableye was one of the shinies that I kept running into for a while. I had a ton of shiny Sableye, but I must have given them away on a previous Sunday stream. Magikarp looks so good in this generation. They really did a good job with the metallicness of some of the shinies. Did you get the baking soda in the carpet? Yes. I brought out our big shop vac and vacuumed up all the baking soda out of the carpet. So now, instead of gross, my car is smelling very fresh and clean. Very, very fresh and clean. But, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these last 4 finished up, and then call it a night. I, of course, do plan on streaming on Wednesday. My plans for Wednesday, I actually did a little bit of research last night and found a team that I liked. This time from a Japanese player. I did get it, though, from an English-speaking YouTube that was showcasing the Japanese player's team. So I'll put both of their information in the stream. I don't remember the English-speaking channel's name, but the Japanese player was what was their name? I don't even remember their name. But they were in the Japanese regionals, and they ran a very anti-meta team that I thought looked interesting. And actually, it looked really easy to build. So that was another reason why I wanted to build it. And I already have like a lot of the Pokemon on that team, so it was even easier, which I like. So I was gonna copy that team and bring back my stall team. And my stall team, after losing my mind last night on stream because of that Amoonguss, I swapped out Screamtail and I put in a Arcanine with Howl and Intimidate. So, kind of does what Screamtail on my team was originally meant to do, which was to buff my my weaker damage dealers with Howl. So, Arcanine does that. It also improves my defensiveness by lowering attack with Intimidate. And then I also have, of course, safety goggles on that Arcanine to be immune to Spore, and Flare Blitz to deal some very heavy damage to Amoonguss. So that's my Amoonguss answer. Oh, the Lechonk? Sure. It is the last one, so why not? And again, we'll just reuse the same code. So, I will wait for you to connect. And that'll be my last Pokemon for the night, and then I will be ending the stream. Thank you for coming and watching and participating. I appreciate that. Oh. But I've had kind of a long day, and my eyeballs are starting to rebel against me, so I think it is time that I went and laid down and really relaxed. Are you having trouble getting connected? There you are. Okay. Yep, that's you. And Lechonk is yours. I would much rather do this and like give my shinies away to somebody who wants them rather than in surprise trade, because I said it earlier, I feel like if you get a shiny in surprise trade, like the first thought in your head is that, oh man, this is hacked, and they either just release it right then and there, or they just put it in their box and never think about it again. So at least this way I know they're going to somebody that will appreciate them. But that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back on Wednesday with some VGC stuff, so I look forward to seeing you guys there. Have a good night. Bye.